I don't do anything without thinking about what is the real reason, what is the real motivation.
Life is a journey, and I wanted to share with you just for a few moments about 5 things. Aren't you glad they aren't 10? 5 things that have made this journey for me exciting. 5 lessons that I've learned that if I had gone to Wellesley, I could have not made as many mistakes. But 5 lessons that I've learned that have helped me to make my life better. Teach you to be who you are. It took me a while to get that lesson, that it's really just about everyday experiences teaching you moment in, moment out, who you really are. That every experience is here to teach you more fully how to be who you really are. Because for a long time I wanted to be somebody else. I mean, growing up I didn't have a lot of role models.
If you really want to be successful, you need to make sure that you are focused on the right things to do in your life. You need to make sure that you are constantly doing whatever it is that you can to improve upon yourself day in and day out. You're going to want to make sure that you can find something small to do every single day to make sure that you are better than yesterday, because that's what it's all about. Constant improvement and trying to be better than you were the day before. Because you're not going to be successful overnight, and it's going to take a ton of time, energy, and effort poured into whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And a great way to do that is just little bits day by day. Small chunks here and there throughout your week that are going to progress your goals and your plans for your future. Now, it will be challenging, and there are going to be times where you're going to feel like giving up, but just know you can't do that. You can fail, and failure's all right. In fact, it is encouraged and expected. But the moment you turn that failure into you giving up, that's when it's game over. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, as long as you rise up every single time and keep pursuing your goal relentlessly. But if you give up, then everything's off the tables, and all that energy and time you into your goals is just an absolute waste. You're not going to gain anything from that because you decided to stop doing it and give up. But if you fail, you can fail 150 times and you get up 151 times. That's all that matters. That last time that you rose up to the challenge could be the difference between failure and giving up and success.
I came to the realization after being in television and having the news director trying to make me into something that I wasn't, and going to New York and allowing myself to be treated less than I should have been, going to a beauty salon where y'all know there's a difference between black hair and white hair.
Power that was greater than I could ever know. On the porch to actually count the 6 trees. And this is what I noticed, that I could dream the 6, but beyond the 6 trees in my kitchen window are 3,687 trees. I'm telling you, when I laid it down and it didn't have me anymore, it had no control over me anymore. I didn't feel anything about it anymore. When I let it go, when I intentionally surrendered it to the power that was greater than I could ever know. Most importantly, it taught me the power of surrender. You don't just have to stand. When you've prayed and cried and stood and tried some more and sacrificed and wanted and dreamed and held on and believed and got turned down and turned back and turned around, it taught me that when you've done everything you can do, surrender all.
Now I think it's courageous, and the interesting thing about it is, if you were telling me my life story and it was about somebody else, I'd say, oh, how courageous. It's very difficult for me to give myself that credit. I mean, it's very difficult for me to even see myself as successful, because I still see myself as in the process of becoming successful. I was in an oratorical contest, and the great victory for us as state champions was to have our national championship here at Stanford in this very church. I lost the contest, but I won the prize. I think that success is a process, and I believe that my first Easter speech in the Kosciuszko Baptist Church at the age of 3.5 was the beginning, and that every other speech, every other book I read, every other time I spoke in public was a building block. I gotten picked as 2 students, and I think I was 16 years old at the time. I was being interviewed by a local radio station, and And a year later, there was a contest being sponsored in town called the Miss Fire Prevention Contest, where all you had to do was parade around in an evening gown, answer some questions about. Nobody expected me to win the pageant. I was a great observer of life. It's because every Sunday I sat in our little church, no running water, no electricity. I was saying this to my great niece who's 8 the other day, and she said, "It sounds like Little House on the Prairie." And I go, "It kind of was." And we could hear the singing as I was getting dressed for Sunday school.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.